Someone had a comment on one of the videos about the appearance of Queen Anne's lace, and they were saying that the berms are compacted, but the problem with that theory is that all of this pasture has either been overgrazed or hayed for a long time, and this pasture is very compacted. And so, as you can see with all of these, they've already run their course now, but I didn't mow this area this season. And you can see all the Queen Anne's lace. And this is what's left behind. And that's seed. How do you keep the seed that's already in your pasture out of your berms? And the answer is that you don't. I don't know how compacted this pasture is, but I'll try to demonstrate. I've got this rod here with with tick marks on it. Let me see if I can get this in. Okay, so I could not get that one tick mark in, so if I had a hammer I could probably get it to there. Plus it's rained a lot lately. Right up on top of this berm. Okay, I couldn't film that because I'm one-handed right now, but you can see there's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tick marks left. Okay, so there you go. I had, from where my thumb is down, I had that much rot in the ground with fairly minimal effort. So compaction is not an issue with this berm, but when you're in an environment where there's grass or weeds that are already there, when you dig those up, they're there. When you dig those ditches, the seeds are already there. And so when you mound up your berm, the seeds are inside of your berm, and they're not going to germinate right off the bat. Usually it would depend on when you did it. I mean, if we dug ours while it was still cold, so obviously they weren't going to germinate right away. I think we did it in March. So when we put the cover crop on, that germinated pretty much within a couple of weeks. That was germinating, and then a couple of months later, some of the stuff that is native began to germinate up through the berms because the seeds were already there. The warmth and the rain germinates the seeds, and that year's weeds begin to come up. And those will come up, flower, and they go to seed. And the seeds either get mown down or they die and the wind blows them. But that season's seeds then go into the ground. They don't come up again. They lie there dormant because they need a certain time of the year to germinate. So the seeds that were in the pasture when we built the berms were there from the previous year. The berms didn't get built and have that season's Queen Anne's lace come up, go to seed, fly over to the berms, and then germinate into the berms. It's not the way things work. It was the previous year's seeds. And so we had Queen Anne's lace in the berms the first season. So obviously they were already there. You know, the comments that I see are kind of funny sometimes because, you know, people will say, well, do this or do that, or I would do this or I would do that. I would use compost tea. And I say, well, good. You should do that and document it and let us all know how it works. It would be nice to have more information about this specific biome when it comes to a food forest. I don't think there's a whole lot of, at least on YouTube, there's not a whole lot of videos out there that are relevant for me. I can watch a video about a swale system in New Mexico, but that is going to be that climate's so different from the one here that it's not going to help me out a whole lot in terms of what I have to do to manage what I've got happening. And so that's why I'm doing this, so that people can see what works or doesn't work for this environment. And there's a lot of video, obviously, from Australia, and that's different from here. The ones I've seen don't get as cold as it gets here. And there's also a lot from England, but specifically this area where it's real hot and humid during the summer and gets pretty cold during the winter, there's just not much information yet. And anyway, that's why I'm trying to put out what I'm doing, just so people can see how this will work on a depleted pasture, on an old worn out pasture that's been overgrazed or hayed for a long time, that's very compacted. I appreciate everybody's comments and suggestions, and I appreciate all the new subscribers we've gotten lately, and thanks for watching.